Thanks for joining us for CBN's On the Home Front, where we highlight what the men and women of America's military do to defend our country. I'm Mark Martin. The military recently launched an initiative called This Is Your Military to help bridge the gap between civilian and military life. Using the hashtag #KnowYourMil on social media, the DoD wants to give you a first-hand look at the people wearing the uniform. There are many misconceptions about military life floating around, and this new campaign wants to clear some of them up. For much of the military, the attacks of September 11th, 2001 drastically changed their way of defending the country. For the North American Aerospace Defense Command, that meant looking for threats not only outside the borders of the U.S. and Canada, but now also from within.
We were in Cheyenne Mountain, and we actually heard one or two events that were occurring. And we heard initially that there was a small aviation airplane that hit one of the towers in New York City. Hey, this does not look like a general aviation kind of attack. And then again, we saw in real time the second aircraft hit the second tower, and we knew that it was not just a normal day, if you will. It wasn't just a normal general aviation episode.
I think prior to 9/11, we really focused on that external threat, really going back to the roots of NORAD against the Soviet Union and a threat that potentially could be threatening both the U.S. and Canada externally. 9/11 showed us that we also need to be looking at that threat that could come from us internally.
At that particular time, we only had 7 locations that had fighters on alert. And the alert capabilities back then, we really didn't even fly with live missiles on the aircraft. And so we had to make some modifications to our standard tactics, techniques, and procedures, and we were doing that as we went along. So on day one, the first thing that we started to do was trying to get access to as many fighter and command and control and tanker aircraft that we could to be able to flood the skies with a counter capability in case there was additional attacks that were forthcoming.
Operation Noble Eagle is our air sovereignty mission within NORAD. This really came out of 9/11. In fact, U.S. Northcom was born out of 9/11. That U.S. Geographic Combatant Command, called U.S. Northcom, was a direct result of the attack and the need to have a single commander that was responsible for homeland defense.
Soldiers in Afghanistan today continue to work to provide communication capabilities between ground troops and higher leadership. The 430th Expeditionary Electronic Combat Squadron showcases their unique abilities with the E-11A BACN aircraft.
BACN is a airborne communications platform that we send up into the air to kind of bridge communications between the various platforms and agencies that we have on the ground. There's no flying training unit, there's no official Air Force program to fly a Global Express jet or a BD-700. So the first time most of us even see a platform is out here in the combat zone. We're now able to utilize beyond line of sight communications for the guy on the ground to the guy on the mountaintop. We can support anyone and every one of our operations on the ground.
I'm the day battle NCO for the JDOC that runs all the force protection and GDA operations for here on CAF. So running operations, doing battle tracking, talking to the guys on the ground, the guys out on missions, doing that stuff. So we use them for when our guys are doing certain operations, they're like 20K away. There's no chance we're going to get in comms with them. So we call BACN, put in a request for them, get them on station, and they put in our frequencies in the radios. They set up our voice bridges to our phones. So I mean, it just adds to the confidence level for sure.
I think it's really great that we have contractors here. A lot of them are prior military or have retired, so they offer a lot of experience, and that makes us very effective. When it comes to maintenance, we only have 4 aircraft in our fleet, and we're still able to fly 24/7, 365 days. So it's really impressive that we're able to, with such a small fleet of aircraft, continually have an aircraft actually in the sky providing communication services. During the Kandahar elections, there was a key leadership engagement, and one of the Afghan generals. He was actually assassinated, but we also had one of our TAC South commander there, and he was shot during that incident. And Bacon was actually flying overhead, and that allowed the JDOC to immediately call medevac, so that way, just saving a few minutes helped save his life. Those are the type of things that our Bacon is regularly doing, just making sure that communications, if things go bad, we can quickly respond and that it's reliable and theater support can help out.
It's great because of the mission that we do, the impact that we have on the people on the ground, and every time that they come to us and thank us for, you know, providing that life support communication relay. It's great to be able to get that feedback and be able to know that you're doing something that's impacting real lives.
Efforts for international relations across all countries also stepped up. Every year, U.S. soldiers and service members from various European countries like Germany, Austria, Finland, and the Czech Republic take part in an annual International Combat Lifesavers course in Germany. Their goals include enhancing readiness and camaraderie among the U.S. Army Europe and its allies and partners.
My name is Specialist Sean Hamilton, and I'm one of the instructors here at the International Combat Lifesavers course. This is a 4-day course involving concepts in TCCC, Tactical Combat Casualty Care. Day 1 is more of the walk phase, where we sit the students down in the classroom environment and teach them the information that they'll need to know to actually perform TCCC. Day 2 will teach them basics in airway, how to insert a needle chest decompression, how to maintain a casualty's airway. We go through the whole march process, how to stop major bleeding, sustain airway, how to assess a casualty's respiration rate, check circulation and prevent hypothermia, and how to carry a casualty from the point of injury to point of treatment to the point of evacuation. All the students did great. They all passed their written and hands-on tests and assessments. I believe this is the first time in 2 years that we've actually had aviation support. They did a quick class out on the airfield on how to approach the helicopter, both with and without casualties, how to load them up, and how to communicate between themselves and the flight crew on when it's okay to approach the helicopter and from what angles that they need to approach from. Final day is a culminating event where we have the students put all their skills together in one large training simulation where we have actual casualties for them to work on. And for them to actually load casualties onto a helicopter to get that real hands-on experience. The majority of the students here are non-medical. All soldiers are supposed to be trained in TCCC and to be a combat lifesaver. And this kind of gives us an opportunity to work with our host nation partners and build our bonds with our host nation partners and NATO partners.
Okay, I think that's good.
Coming up, how CBN is stepping in to help a military family in need. Welcome back. CBN honors the men and women in our military with an initiative called Helping the Home Front. It partners with churches across the country to meet the needs of their military families, from repairing homes to providing financial support to wiping out medical bills for wounded veterans. Marcus is a father of 3. He's also a Marine who is facing a long deployment. He wanted his wife and children to be near family while he was away. They were about to go into debt, though, to make that happen. Instead, this military couple received a hand up from CBN's Helping the Home Front.
Behind every Frontlines Marine military operation stands a readiness support group with hundreds of Marines working hard to ensure the mission is a success. One support team includes flight equipment mechanic Marcus.
Everything that we do is essential to getting the mission done. The troops can't get on ground without the planes working. The planes can't work without the mechanics to fix the planes. Everyone is an integral part of making the whole process go.
When he's away, Marcus relies on his wife OSHA to take care of their son Xavier and their twins, Marcus III and Maya.
My wife does an excellent job. She's my backbone in so many ways.
OSHA relies on her faith in God to give her the strength to get through the long months when he's away.
As long as I stay close to the Lord, I know He will see me through anything. Without Him, I would not be able to get through our first deployment.
The couple decided to move OSHA and the children to be near family during the deployment. They planned to take out a loan to do it. To them, going into debt was worth it.
It makes me feel a little bit more at ease, knowing that if something was to happen to her, then they have cousins, aunts, grandparents, uncles right there in the vicinity instead of several hours away.
The couple attends River of Life Church close by Camp Lejeune. When their pastor, Chris Phillips, learned about their decision to take out a loan, he contacted CBN to ask for financial help. Pastor Chris told the couple the good news.
We want to pay for the U-Haul rental to get you loaded up and get you out of town.
Thank you so much. It's a blessing.
That sounds awesome.
And in addition to that, we want to make sure that we take care of the expenses that are related to the travel so that nothing will come out of your pocket to get you down there.
It's a blessing. It's a relief.
I'm not done yet. Just before you deploy, we want to pay the expenses to fly you from Jacksonville to Valdosta so that you'll be able to see your family one last time before you're separated for months.
Thank you so much.
OSHA can now get through the deployment without worrying about debt.
I am so grateful that CBN has this program to show the military that you support them and you understand and that you can help them out as well. It just means so much.
Up next, how one Navy lieutenant has dedicated his life to making his family back in Nigeria proud. Thanks for staying with us. Navy Lieutenant Quadri Yusuf immigrated to the United States from Nigeria as a teen on a quest to make his father proud. He joined the Navy and began working out, eventually entering and winning bodybuilding competitions as he rose through the enlisted ranks.
When I'm working out, all I always think about is you're doing this for a reason. You want to be the best. I just give thanks that I'm able to wake up in the morning to do this. We never know what's going to happen to us tomorrow. And so every day when I wake up, it's always a blessing. If any new thing you have, you got to be thankful for it. The more thankful you are, the more things are going to happen to you. I'm originally from Nigeria. I was raised by a single father. My dad, he has one of his best friends. He left to come to the United States. He was gonna bring my father to the United States. And my father was like, instead of taking me, can you take my first son? I remember when I was leaving, my father asked me, look in my face, he said, you know what? And I want you to go out there and make us proud. And since I left that country, when I came to this country, I always remember that when my dad always tell me to make him proud. Everything I do, I always try to do to the best of my ability because I want to make my father proud. When I joined the military and I sent a picture to my dad, and my dad was crying. I said, "Dad, why are you crying?" He said, "Son, you're in the United States Navy, the biggest, strongest Navy in the world." Being in the military, you know, gave me that discipline. You know, I kind of use the same discipline on my job. I put in the same when I'm in the gym. You know, in the Navy, we follow protocol. We follow procedures. And I've used that to my, you know, in the gym. When I lift, I have to feel it. You never know what your body can do until you do it. And it's about consistency. And after a while, you're gonna say, "Wow, I just did that." You know, those are the feelings I gain every time when I go in the gym. There's no other feelings when I go to my competition because they announce all the competitors. They will announce my name. The next competitor is Shehu Yusuf, United States Navy. When I hear that, it's the honor for me to be able to hear that, honor for me to be able to put on this uniform, to be able to carry myself as a Navy officer. When people see me, especially when I did my first competition, people say, "You know what, if he can do it, I can do it too." Look at me today, a kid from Africa. I came here with nothing. And I saw the opportunity. I said, I need to grab it. Nobody can stop you if you believe in yourself. Every time when I get on the 1MC, everybody on the ship knows. I always finish my phrase, as always, God bless America. When I look at my life, everything I have, this country gave it to me. This Navy gave it to me. Where's the better way to give back? It's by me to serve this country to the best of my ability. That's why every day I wake up, when I put on this uniform, it's not just making my father proud. You know, I want to leave the Navy. I want people to remember, oh, we used to have a Captain Yusuf. He's one of the most dedicated officer, sailor you ever seen. This is a legacy I want to leave. I'm proud to serve the United States Navy.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. Sergeant Dustin McGraw loved the military since he was a little boy and knew one day he wanted to join. Now he does so much more than just his daily duties. He tells of his journey to reenacting World War I battles in his off time. The discipline, traditions, and training of World War I doughboys helped shape the modern Army into what it is today.
My family loved watching, well, my dad loved watching war movies. Him and I would always just sit on the couch, watch Saving Private Ryan, Band of Brothers, the whole way through, and just obsess over it, and like, oh, wow. And as a young kid, I was just getting so excited about World War II and the whole allure of being a paratrooper. The day came when I actually did join the Army, and I set a set of goals for myself. I wanted to become a paratrooper, and I wanted to go to the 101st. I went to airborne school right after basic, got sent to Italy. And in Italy, I was exposed to the culture of the old world and World War I. So that further heightened my interest in World War I, putting World War II aside. Started with a helmet, then a set of web gear and a uniform just so I could piece it all together and kind of get an idea of what it would have been like to be in World War I as an American doughboy. Italy came to an end, so I got sent back to the States, and I landed myself in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. So I am now a paratrooper in the 101st, which is, I think, pretty awesome. Then, while exploring the Tennessee area, I discovered Sergeant Alvin C. York State Historic Park, and I had seen videos of reenacting, but I'd never done it before, so I was like, yeah, that sounds like fun. I'll just put my kit together and I'll come out and join. So I came out, met a bunch of great people, and they were all wearing their doughboy kit, and so was I, and I thought that was just the coolest thing ever. So I started coming to a bunch of the events and just living life as a doughboy in 1918 France. It definitely showed me that I take a lot of the modern stuff for granted, like transportation, logistics, uniforms for that matter. We're definitely not wearing any wool or hobnailed boots anymore. Seeing where the Army came from and what it is today makes you really grateful that we've achieved so much. Military discipline definitely plays a part in being a good reenactor. You're not going to portray a soldier in World War I with an unshaven face or just no military bearing at all. So being an active duty soldier definitely helps to achieve a proper World War I or just reenacting in general impression. And it also works both ways too, because you do this, you look at the old school drill and ceremony, and then you see how it correlates and forms modern drill and ceremony, and especially like aid station medical practices and stuff like that. I think each of them play a part in making the other one better. If you do this enough and you're around people that are dressed like it, and you know what it's like to wear the uniform, and then you look at a picture from World War I and he's wearing the same thing, you automatically put it in your mind how he must be feeling. If it's a hot day, he's obviously going to be sweating because it's wool. So you can almost kind of connect. When I was a little kid seeing little images of doughboys, I would just think, oh, look at that. It's just World War II? Like, no, it's World War I. So I just became obsessed with it because everyone talks about World War II and it overshadows greatly World War I. It's just a little niche in the history books that people nowadays seem to forget about. It's important to me because every soldier needs to remember where the Army came from. It's not just the modern Army, it's the foundation that the Army was built on through world wars and different conflicts that formed the modern Army for what it is today.
That's all for today. In the meantime, you can find more of our exclusive coverage at cbnnews.com. Hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day.